Hello, Radiant Leo. Let me ask you something that might echo deep in your soul. Have you been feeling like something or someone is quietly working against your light, no matter how much you push forward? If that hits home, then I promise you, this video didn't just appear in your feed by accident. You were meant to be here. And what I'm about to share with you might finally explain the energy you've been sensing. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness. This isn't just another zodiac forecast. It's a deep cosmic reading crafted for you, Leo, the bold-hearted sign ruled by the sun, born to lead, to inspire, to shine. But even the brightest flames can be shadowed by energies they never saw coming. Today, we're going to uncover something that has been lingering in the background of your life, something that may have been draining your peace, clouding your decisions, and subtly shifting the course of your relationships, finances, and emotional balance. What if I told you that your photo, yes, your image was used in a ritual? Not by strangers, but by two individuals connected through blood, a mother and daughter. This ritual wasn't done out of love. It was fueled by envy, fear, and a desire to manipulate your destiny. The energy surrounding this act was heavy, calculated. And whether you knew it or not, you've been carrying the weight of it. You may have felt it as unexplainable exhaustion, disconnection, misunderstandings with loved ones that felt strangely intense, blockages in your money flow, sudden anxiety in your own home. These were not coincidences, they were energetic consequences. But here's the truth, Leo. You are not powerless. Your energy, your soul's light, was never theirs to touch. And what was done in secret is now being revealed because the universe is not only watching, it is protecting you. Your presence here means you're ready to see what's been hidden and reclaim what's always been yours. You're not just here to hear the message, you're here to rewrite the outcome. Before we go deeper, let me take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription brings you closer to this cosmic family we're building at Eternal Mindfulness. Thank you truly for showing up today. Your presence fuels this channel and allows us to keep bringing transformative insights directly to you. And trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay until the very end of this video. Because what the universe is about to reveal is both shocking and empowering. You're going to learn how to cut energetic cords, cleanse your space, restore your clarity, and step back into the version of yourself that no spell, no ritual, and no shadow can dim. So tell me, my loyal Leos, what inner force guided you here today? Was it intuition? A vivid dream? Or just that nagging feeling that something wasn't quite right? Leave a comment below to confirm your intuition. When you write it out, you activate the first step of healing. And as we journey through this together, you'll realize your light isn't just returning, it's about to blaze in a way that no one can ever steal again. There's a strange tension that some of you, Leo, may have been carrying in your chest lately, like a presence brushing past your energy field when no one else is around, or a dense cloud hovering just beyond your thoughts. And perhaps, despite all your courage and inner fire, you've caught yourself wondering, is something outside of me influencing what I feel inside? This isn't paranoia, and it's not weakness. It's awareness. What you're sensing is real. You've always been attuned to energy ruled by the sun. Your sign naturally radiates light, but also makes you more visible, more magnetic, and yes, more vulnerable to the gaze of others. Astrologically, this is a pivotal moment. The Sun, your ruling planet, is in a hard aspect to Pluto, the planet of secrets, shadows, and transformation. When these two forces meet in conflict, hidden truths don't just float to the surface, they erupt. It's the kind of cosmic alignment that makes the invisible visible, whether you're ready for it or not. And Leo, you're being called to look at what's been operating in your blind spots. The tension, the fatigue, the sleepless nights, they aren't random. There may be someone who, intentionally or not, is projecting dense, resistant energy onto your path. And it may come from someone close, cloaked in familiarity. The Moon and the Devil, two tarot archetypes reflecting illusion, manipulation, and entrapment, reinforce this. When these cards appear together, they whisper of influence that is subtle but invasive. It's the energetic equivalent of walking through a room that looks clean but leaves your skin tingling. Someone may be fixating on your success, on your inner peace, on the light you hold within, because it's something they haven't yet accessed in themselves. But the truth is, energy is real. And the impact of that energy doesn't always show up as dramatic events. Sometimes, it looks like losing your sense of direction, second-guessing yourself constantly, or waking up already exhausted. In numerology, the numbers 6 and 11 are now surrounding your field. 6 speaks of responsibility, healing, and emotional entanglement, while 11 is a master number representing awakening through challenge. These numbers suggest that what's happening is not just an attack, but a test. One that can wake you up to a deeper level of clarity and alignment than you've ever known. You're not just being watched, you're being called. Called to purify, to center, to examine where you've allowed others to reach into your space mentally, emotionally, or energetically. In certain traditions of mindfulness, there's a simple but powerful teaching, that what disturbs you is not always yours. Sometimes, your suffering is simply your resistance to what no longer belongs to you. You may have absorbed tension, fear, or jealousy without realizing it, especially if it came masked as concern or closeness. That's why it's important now to stop and ask, what energy am I carrying that doesn't belong to me? Write it down. Don't filter it. Let the words fall like stones into a river. In doing so, you let the current carry them away. The purpose of this awareness is not to create fear but to restore clarity. Because when you recognize what isn't yours, you return to what is, your will, your light, your heart. That's where your power lies, not in controlling others or even protecting yourself from every shadow, but in recognizing that your essence can never truly be touched. You're not just being followed, Leo. You're being invited to see more clearly. And when you do, you'll realize that your radiance was never at risk, it was simply waiting for you to notice the fog and breathe it away. There are moments in life when we feel inexplicably exposed, like someone is watching us, not with eyes we can see, but with an invisible pull that disrupts our peace. You may not be able to explain it, but your body knows. You sense something is off. It might come as a subtle tension in your shoulders, a persistent unease in familiar places, or a sharp drop in motivation for no clear reason. And when that kind of energy lingers long enough, it begins to shape your thoughts, disrupt your flow, and quietly isolate you from the warmth of connection. This part of the journey is about understanding why that's happening and reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. Leo, your presence is powerful. You're ruled by the Sun, the ultimate life giver, the center of gravity itself. But that brilliance doesn't just illuminate, it attracts. In some cases, it attracts the wrong kind of attention, those who feel they lack light within themselves and attempt to draw it from others. Not all envy is loud or obvious. Sometimes, it hides behind admiration. And sometimes, it operates in quiet rituals, through stolen symbols, and even through the misuse of something as personal as your image. The appearance of the Hierophant in tarot suggests that your essence, your very identity, has been manipulated or projected into a framework you didn't choose. Combined with the Two of Swords, there's a clear message here. Someone has taken your energy and placed it into a context that you never agreed to. The result? You've been energetically bound to ideas, outcomes, or timelines that do not belong to you. And in the stillness of your life, you may have started to feel it: confusion about your next step, disconnection from your financial clarity, or even a fading interest in the communities that once made you feel whole. There are traditions that speak of the immense power held within names, faces, and images. Your photograph, for example, isn't just a piece of paper, it's a representation of your energetic imprint. When someone uses it with intention, especially with the intent to manipulate, it can create a subtle tether, pulling on your field without your consent. That's why lately, you may have felt like your energy is leaking, like no matter how much rest or focus you try to create, something keeps diffusing your strength. According to the law of attraction, energy flows where attention goes. But those who do not know how to generate their own magnetism will often attempt to borrow or steal it from others. And the easiest targets are those who shine brightly. If someone is using your image or your essence to fuel their own goals, the imbalance becomes yours to correct, not because you caused it, but because you're the only one who can unplug yourself from it. This is not about blame, it's about clarity. It's about choosing to no longer participate in a loop you never asked to be a part of. The path forward is grounded in awareness and action. Begin by reclaiming your name and likeness in your own energetic space. Visualize your image surrounded by a sphere of gold light, unreachable, unshakable, sealed. Affirm that your energy is yours alone, and any unauthorized claim on it is now dissolved. Use protective colors like deep ruby red to ignite courage, golden light to restore divine authority, and pure white to reset your field. These aren't just colors theory vibrations that reinforce your boundaries on a subtle level. And remember, in the quiet teachings of cause and effect, the universe does not need you to retaliate, it only asks you to awaken. Because once you remember who you are, no one can use a shadow version of you ever again. This isn't just about protection, it's about restoration. It's about returning to the truth, that your light was never meant to be borrowed, manipulated, or masked. It was meant to lead. Sometimes, the most telling signs of imbalance aren't in our thoughts or feelings but in the subtle changes we notice in our environment. When your home, once your sanctuary, starts to feel heavy or chaotic for no reason, that isn't just coincidence. The space you live in absorbs energy just like your body does. And Leo, with your heightened sensitivity to frequency and vibration, you're likely the first to feel it. That discomfort may present itself as a strange smell in the air, a misplaced object you know you didn't move, or an unshakable tension that hangs in the atmosphere. These are not random occurrences. They are echoes of energy, specifically, energy that doesn't belong to you. What makes these energetic intrusions so difficult to pinpoint is their subtlety. They rarely announce themselves. Instead, they move slowly, entering through the smallest cracks, sometimes through words spoken with hidden intentions, or emotions left unresolved between you and someone you trusted. And because your physical home is a mirror of your inner world, when energy gets trapped or distorted in your surroundings, it begins to weigh on your thoughts, your body, your ability to focus, and even your sense of self. You may start to forget what clarity feels like. You may notice that your sleep is lighter, your dreams more restless, and your breath doesn't quite reach your belly the way it used to. This is how energy clings, not in drama, but in small disruptions that stack up silently. In cosmic terms, we're entering a cycle where subtle forces are amplified. What was once ignorable now feels amplified. That's why it's more important than ever to return to your center and to treat your space as an extension of your energetic body. If the energy within your home feels off, you don't need to fight it. You need to shift it. One of the most effective ways to reset the energy around you is by introducing intentional cleansing rituals. Burn sandalwood incense or natural resin like frankincense for 3 consecutive days. Let the smoke touch every corner, especially the spaces that feel the most stagnant. As you walk through each room, say to yourself, "This is my space. It reflects my peace." And mean it. But remember, purifying your environment begins with purifying your inner atmosphere. There's a reason ancient wisdom teaches that what's outside is a reflection of what's within. If the mind is clouded, the room will feel dim. If the spirit is agitated, the air may seem thick. That's why I invite you to try a simple practice each morning, a 10-minute seated breath meditation. Not for escape but for realignment. Place your hands on your solar plexus, the seat of your power, and repeat softly, "I am the sole authority in my energy field." Nothing enters unless I invite it. This isn't just affirmation, it's energetic boundary setting at its most natural level. And as we speak of purification, don't forget your body, your first temple. Nourishing it with intention can act as a vibrational cleanse. Consider adding turmeric and ginger to your daily routine, 2 roots long known for their ability to break up energetic stagnation and reduce internal inflammation. Add in fruits with rich orange tones like papaya or mandarin, which carry both vitality and a sense of grounded brightness. Drink more water than usual. Not to flush toxins alone but to remind your body that flow is possible. The mind may forget what peace feels like, but the body remembers when you allow it. In these times, information is everywhere and not all of it serves your healing. Step back from the noise. Avoid negative headlines. Unfollow the voices that stir anxiety instead of clarity. Even silence is healing, when it's intentional. Let this be your invitation to return to stillness, to choose what enters your space, and to remind yourself, your home, your breath, your thoughts, these are sacred. Treat them as such, and the heavy fog around you will begin to lift. Not all battles are won by resistance. Some are won simply by reclaiming the quiet. When the dust begins to settle and the fog starts to clear, what emerges is not just a return to clarity but a deeper understanding of cause and effect. You've made it this far, Leo, and what's unfolding now is not about punishment or revenge. It's about balance. Justice, as shown through the tarot, does not swing wildly, it moves with deliberate grace. When the Justice card appears alongside the star, it signals something profound, that the universe has not forgotten what was done to you, but it also remembers what you are made of. This is not about retribution. It's about restoration of your energy, your light, and your sense of rightful place in the cosmic rhythm. There's a natural law, as old as breath itself, that reminds us, whatever is planted with intention must one day be harvested. This law doesn't require you to act out of anger. In fact, its strength lies in your ability to step back and let it work. The people who tried to siphon your power, who misused your image or manipulated your direction, are already being met with the ripple of their choices. It may not always be visible. You may not hear the apology. But trust that the echo has already begun to return to its source. And while they deal with the consequences of their actions, your only task is to return to your center and reclaim what was always yours. There is something powerful, even sacred, in the act of acknowledging harm without allowing it to define you. One practice I often recommend when you're ready is to write a letter not to send, but to release. Pour into it the truth of what happened. Name the wound, name the feeling, and then when the words are finished, let them go. You can burn it, bury it, or tear it into pieces and float it down a stream. What matters most is that you speak your truth, then detach from it like the leaf detaches from the branch in autumn. This is the art of letting go without forgetting what it taught you. Another way to ground this release physically is by burying a small itima stone, a leaf, even a paper with a symbol that represents the energy you're leaving behind. As you place it in the earth, whisper to yourself, I reclaim my energy. I return to wholeness. I walk in freedom. These are not empty words. When spoken with presence, they become a seed for a new beginning. A simple daily ritual can also shift lingering patterns. Try rinsing your hands each morning in warm water infused with ginger and coarse salt. It may sound modest, but symbolically, this act mirrors the cleansing of old karmic residue. Just as we wash away physical dirt, we can choose to shed the energetic imprints that no longer serve us. And every morning you choose to begin again, you're building a field of light that no one can step into without your consent. In relationships, this awareness becomes even more important. Someone who genuinely loves you will never try to distort your image, will never need to manipulate your energy to feel closer to you. True love respects freedom. It knows how to stand beside you, not above or over you. And as you continue to cleanse and restore your inner landscape, those who remain will be those who resonate with your rising vibration, not those who fear your light. So while justice unfolds in the background, your focus is simple: remember who you are. Align with what's true. And let your healing be the quiet revolution that shifts everything. Not because you shouted, but because you chose peace with strength, clarity with softness, and forgiveness not as surrender but as sovereignty. Once the truth is fully seen, once the fog lifts and the pieces of your power return to you, something beautiful happens. You are no longer surviving, you are rebuilding. And Leo, you are meant to rebuild from a place of love, not defense. This is not about restoring what was broken as it once was. This is about rising into something stronger, clearer, and more deeply aligned with who you've always been beneath the noise. Healing, as we often forget, isn't just about cleansing what hurt us. It's about nurturing what can now flourish because of the space that pain left behind. Restoration begins quietly. It doesn't demand perfection or a dramatic transformation. It asks for presence, one choice at a time. You've already done the courageous work of naming what was taken, of releasing what never belonged to you. Now the question becomes, what do you want to grow in its place? Because what was once manipulated, your finances, your health, your relationships, is no longer outside your grasp. The moment you stepped out of victimhood, you reclaimed the pen. Now you write the next chapter. Start with something grounded, something tangible. Write a simple 7-day financial intention. Not a pressure-filled budget, but a declaration of clarity. Maybe it's tracking your spending honestly. Maybe it's creating a plan to save something small. Or even deciding what not to invest your energy in anymore. This isn't about how much, it's about directing your energy with purpose, with self-respect. Money, after all, is just energy in a form we can count. And you, Leo, were born to generate light that draws abundance, not just in wealth, but in worth. Move your body every morning. Just 10 minutes. Stretch, dance, walk. Turn on a sound frequency tuned to 432 high, the vibration of natural harmony, and let your cells remember what peace feels like. When we move intentionally, we remind the body that life continues, and that joy is allowed. The act of moving in the morning is not just physical, it's spiritual alignment through breath and rhythm. Even the smallest movement becomes a kind of vow. I am here. I am alive. I am choosing again. There's also deep power in reconnection. If you've withdrawn from someone you once cared for, perhaps out of fear, or shame, or heaviness, now may be the time to reach out with openness. Not to fix everything. Not to explain. But to say, I'm here, and I want to reconnect. Healing happens in relationship, and the energy you give out when it's grounded in authenticity will always return multiplied. Color can support you in ways you might not expect. Surround yourself with hues that restore balance. Warm orange to reawaken joy and creative fire. Moss green to ground your emotions and calm the nervous system. Soft pearl tones to remind you of the quiet beauty in simplicity. Color is vibration, and the spaces you create with it become mirrors of your own transformation. And now, I ask you to reflect. What do you want to begin again in the next 7 days? Not a perfect new life. Just one thread. One practice. One change. Write it down, and watch how the universe responds, not because it grants wishes, but because it supports clarity. When your inner intention becomes coherent, the outer world aligns. This is the sacred truth often forgotten, that healing is not the end of pain, but the birth of responsibility for joy. You're not returning to who you were. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. And that's the most powerful kind of beginning there is. There's something unshakably powerful about a soul that chooses to rise, not out of anger, not to prove a point, but simply because it remembers who it is. Leo, you didn't just make it through a spiritual ambush. You reclaimed your light without ever needing to dim someone else's. That's not weakness, that's mastery. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the one. What you've just walked through required a strength that many would not have had the courage to face. But you did. And not only did you survive it, you're standing at the edge of a new horizon, brighter and wiser than before. Let that settle in. You were the target of manipulation, envy, and even energetic sabotage. Not because you were fragile, but because your essence was and still is so vibrant that others couldn't look away. And while some chose to admire you silently, others tried to siphon your power, to distort it, to weaken you through shadows. But here you are. Still burning. Still radiant. still rising. You now understand something most never do, that energy is not just something we passively absorb, it's something we have the power to protect, cultivate, and direct. You've seen what happens when your boundaries are unclear, when your image or presence is used without permission. And you've also seen what happens when you take it back. That is the real initiation. You didn't need to fight. You didn't need to curse back. You simply remembered that the truest form of power is presence. Quiet, consistent, sovereign presence. So what happens now? You rebuild, but not as you were. You build from truth, from clarity, from choice. And you do it without fear. You now know how to read the signs, how to feel when something is off, how to stop absorbing what isn't yours, and how to return home to your own frequency. That is something no one can teach you, it is something only experience can awaken. And it has. You don't need to win this story. You already did. Because nothing they did could erase the truth, that you are the light they feared and the energy they wished they had. But light cannot be stolen. It can only be hidden until the soul is ready to shine without apology again. Now I invite you to pause and ask yourself gently, what would it feel like to no longer question your own clarity? What would shift in your life if you fully trusted your energy, your space, your timing? And more importantly, what will you do differently now that you've remembered your power? If even one part of this message resonated with you, if your heart whispered, "This is me," then let it echo louder. Declare it. Own it. Let's turn this into a community of conscious light bearers. Comment below and say, "I take back my energetic sovereignty." Because when you name it, you activate it. And if you've ever felt your energy being pulled, manipulated, or misused, what did you do to recover it? What helped you feel whole again? Share in the comments so we can heal together, because your story might just be someone else's breakthrough. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting this space. Every like, every share, every word of encouragement fuels our growing light-centered family here on Eternal Mindfulness. You are not alone. And this is only the beginning. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone who may be walking through the shadows you've just overcome. You don't have to fight the darkness. Just shine so brightly, it has nowhere left to hide.